Meteorologist Brianna Mowry here with News 19. We are seeing a weather impact alert day today as Hurricane Helene is approaching the Florida Panhandle. Here we are expecting that heavy rainfall and flooding. We're already seeing flood alerts across parts of the Midlands, gusty winds. Those are to come tonight. We also have the chance of severe weather through the night and into tomorrow morning as well. So right now, here's where Helene is. Right now, Category 3 hurricane, winds at 120 miles per hour, still showing signs of strengthening, but just before that landfall in the Florida coast. So we are going to see landfall this evening along the panhandle of Florida. Then very quickly, Helene will travel through Georgia. And even though that track is forecast to move straight through Georgia, we are going to still see plenty of impacts from Helene, so don't let your guard down as far as where that track goes. Don't get too focused on that. The impacts spread far wider than where that cone is, and once we get into the end of the day tomorrow, we will begin to see some improvement weather-wise. Here's what we're seeing right now. Plenty of heavy rainfall across the Midlands, flood advisories and flash flood warnings in place for the central Midlands, and those continue through the afternoon as we're continuing to see heavy rain bands pushing through. Those colors where we're seeing the yellow and orange, that's where we're seeing those higher rainfall rates, and that's where we're seeing those flooding issues beginning to come in. And if you're out traveling, it's best to avoid that, but if you must be out on the roads, keep in mind we're already seeing some flooded roadways out there, so that's something that you need to pay attention to if you are heading out. The entire state of South Carolina is still under that tropical storm warning for ahead of Helene, and that's every single county in South Carolina. And in addition to that, we have a tornado watch, and that's until 9 o'clock this evening. We could see this extended into the overnight hours, but that includes most of South Carolina and all of our Midlands counties. So everyone in the Midlands needs to be having a way to get those weather warnings. And with the wind speeds that we are anticipating, it's important to have multiple ways to get weather alerts in case of a power outage, because with the heavy rain, already saturated soils, we are seeing a potential threat for some power outages. But here's what the latest forecast run is showing. We are going to see a landfall along the Florida coast as we head into tonight. We'll see a little break in the rainfall potentially as we get into the evening hours, but those winds are going to pick up tonight. Then we'll see it tracking through Georgia and right through the Atlanta area, maybe just east of there. We'll begin to see heavy rainfall picking back up by tomorrow morning. Those wind speeds going to be peaking tomorrow morning as well. Gusts could be upwards of 60 miles per hour. Going into the day on Friday, we will still see that lingering wind. So the wind is going to stick around through the day on Friday, but the rain will move out and we will begin to see some improving by Friday night. Here's a closer look at the Midlands. We are going to see some showers continuing through the day today. We have seen some very heavy rain for part of the Midlands today already. We'll see a little break in the activity tonight. Those wind speeds will begin to pick up tonight though. So it's not raining. Don't let your guard down. The wind is also a big concern. Going into our forecast, heading into tomorrow morning, heavy rainfall begins. A lot of the upstate getting some of that heavy rainfall by tomorrow morning. We could still see some of those rain bands setting in for the Midlands by Friday night. That rain begins to move out and we will see some improvement. Those estimated rainfall totals that we've seen so far today, we can see clearly where those heavy rain bands have set up. One just south or just part of the central Midlands, just south of the Columbia metro area. We're over 8 inches of rain already in some places. Almost 8 inches in others. So most of the Midlands have seen about 1 to 2 inches, but if you're in this area where those heavier rain bands have set up, where those brighter colors are, we've seen already 8 inches of rain. So that's where we're getting those flooding concerns. If you're traveling through these areas, it's something to remember. You're likely to run into some water issues. Looking at those current gusts across the Midlands, things are pretty calm wind-wise right now. We're not seeing any of those high wind speeds yet, but we are beginning to see them increasing to our south, and we are already seeing along the South Carolina coast some pretty gusty winds down toward Hilton Head, and that's going to circulate into our area as we head into tonight, into tomorrow morning. With the heavy rainfall we have seen and will continue to see, we are looking at our excessive rainfall outlook. We are in that high level, a lot of the Midlands in the red for that threat of flash flooding, and we could see some pretty scattered flash flooding incidents. We've already seen several of them today, and everywhere in South Carolina having that flood potential. Further to the west, higher in the upstate, and the extreme in that purple color. Going into Friday, we will see some improvement. We will still see that smaller threat for flooding shifting off to the northwest, but still about half the Midlands could see some flooding concerns into Friday. But by Saturday, everyone in the clear for any flooding concerns. Our wind forecast going into the evening, again, things are pretty calm. Wind rise right now. Gusts will reach about 30 miles per hour later tonight. As we see Helene moving inland, we will see those wind speeds beginning to pick up. This is early Friday morning. Wind gusts, 65 mile per hour wind gusts in Orangeburg. Could see lower 70 mile per hour wind gusts along the Georgia-South Carolina line in Augusta. So something to remember, that while the rain may be moving out, the winds are going to stick around a little longer. We will see those winds sticking in through the morning. Going into the afternoon for Friday, we will see those wind speeds still pretty breezy. A lot of improvement though, much lower wind gusts back down in the 20s and 30s. But we will still see breezy conditions even continuing into Friday night and Saturday. But the damaging wind gusts will, most of that will be moved out once we get to later Friday night. Our severe weather threat, we just looked at flood threats. Now this is the severe weather threat. We are seeing everywhere in the South Carolina state with that threat of severe weather today. And that's going into tomorrow morning. Pretty high levels across the eastern part of the state. The Midlands sort of split there. Columbia in the yellow, that's slight risk for severe weather. We could see some isolated severe storms, but with that comes the tornado threat. We are still seeing that chance for some isolated tornadoes to pop up. We've already seen some tornado warnings this morning, especially down toward Orangeburg. And looking ahead at Friday, we will see that beginning to shift out of our area. Still a threat for some severe weather on Friday, but by Saturday, much more calmer conditions. We all would deserve, we all will love that break we get on Saturday. So what you need to know, those timings now through Friday morning. Keep an eye on the forecast, have a way to get alerts. Again, follow us on social media, keep up with us online. Great time to download the WLTX app. We are constantly updating on there. So that's one of the best ways to get alerts. And again, if we have that high wind and heavy rainfall going to be sticking around through the through tomorrow morning, and then we need, if it's best to stay off those roadways unless you have to be out. It's just safer to stay at home. Again, here are those current conditions of Helene. Right now, Category 3 hurricane in the Gulf. We are still seeing some strengthening, and with our latest advisor, it was increased to a Category 3. 120 mile per hour winds right now, gusts of 125. It's moving at 20 miles per hour, so it has picked up some speed. It's moving faster, and that could intensify some of those impacts, because the less time it's over land, the stronger it will be, the less time it has to weaken as it moves inland. As always, you can follow along on social media for updates. And again, the perfect time to download your WLTX app. We send out notifications with weather alerts as soon as we get them. We also are live. We have a live feed going with graphics for Hurricane Helene as it makes its impact. And we are going to continue to provide updates all along the evening at the top of the hour. And with that, I'm meteorologist Brianna Mowry, and stay safe.